Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Myself Parag Zambulkar. This is part 3 of Salesforce LWC project, and title of our project is Organizations, Accounts and Context Management. In last video, that is in part 2 video, we have seen how to pass data from child component to parent component and from parent component to child component. So see, here are three components, right? This complete is parent component, and inside this parent component we have these two child component. So see, this is first child component and this is second child component, right? So see, from this child component we are passing value or we are passing message to the parent component, and then from parent component we are passing message to the second child component, right? So see, suppose if I type something like this and if I click on this button search, so here we are getting that message, right? So see how we have done that, child to parent and from parent to child, right? So that part we have seen in last video, that is in part 2 video, right? I have provided program code in my Udemy course. Here you can see in resources, if you click on this resources, so see here you can find zip folder of program code. So from here you can download. If you are not joined my Udemy course, please join it and also provide 5-star rating. In this video, we will see how to use lightning data table. So see, here you can see, this is called as lightning data table. Here we are showing data in terms of table, right? Here we have rows and columns like this, right? So see, we will see how to add lightning data table in our project. So see, this is our account child 2, right? Our component name is account child 2. So in account child 2 component, we have to add lightning data table, right? So see. So here in account child 2 component in HTML file. So see here we will add lightning data table. So to add a lightning data table, we have to use one tag, and that is lightning data table. So see, we have to use this tag lightning data table like this. So see, this is opening tag and this is closing tag, right? So see, I am taking this closing tag to the next line. Now see, to make use of this lightning data table tag, there are three important fields. See, those are fields. So where we write fields? Here, right? So for any tag, we write fields inside this, inside opening tag, right? So see, so I am taking this angle symbol to the next line like this, and here we will add fields of this tag, right? See, we are not adding value for this tag, we are adding fields for this tag, right? So where we will add? Here, before this closing angle, right? So see, here we have to add some fields, and keep in mind, for any lightning data table tag, three fields are very much important. So see, what are those fields? First important field is key field. This. So see, for a while we will keep it blank. Next, data, this. Okay, so again we'll keep it blank. Then columns, this. So see, to add lightning data table in our LWC project, these three fields of lightning data table tag are important. So that fields we have added: key field, data and columns, right? So see, what we'll do, we'll upload our project and we will see what happened there. Okay, we will deploy it. Okay, now see, we will refresh by Control F5. So something here you can see, right? So here we have these column names, right? ID, name, actions. And here when we have added lightning data table tag, we got this bar, right? So on this bar we have to add some column values, right? So later on we will add. So see, after adding lightning data table tag, we got this bar, right? Okay, now see. So see, for a while we have kept it blanks, right? Now we have to enter values. We have to enter values for the columns, and also we have to enter values for the rows, right? So see, what we have to do, we have to create one array for the columns and one more array for the data. So see, what we will do, for these columns we will add one array. So see, what we will do, here I am mentioning one property name. So see, suppose columns only, right? So basically that columns we will define it as an array. So later on we will see. And here for this data we'll take another property that will be again array. So later on we'll see. So see what we are doing now. For the columns, here I have allocated one property, that is columns, right? And this columns property we will define in JavaScript file, here in JavaScript file. So see, in JavaScript file, now see, we have to define this columns property. So basically we have to create one array. So how we can create array? So keep in mind, in JavaScript, this defines an array. This symbol defines array like this. And if we want to define an object, so that object we can define in this curly bracket. This defines object. So see, square brackets defines array and this curly brackets defines object, right? Now see, we have to define columns as an array. So how we can define? Is equal to and this square bracket like this, right? And inside this we have to add multiple objects. So how many objects we require? See, how many objects we require? 1, 2 and 3, right? First column, second column and third column. So we require 3 objects. So see, here first object, second object and this is third object, right? Now see what values we require. So see, inside that we have to add key and values. So keep in mind, in this object which we mention or object which we define by this curly bracket. So inside this curly bracket we mention values in terms of key and value pair, right? We have key and value pair. Okay, so see, here label, that is key, and value. So see what value we have to give. So see, this is label, right? This is label. What is the label? ID. And second label is name, right? So see, in single quote we will mention ID, right? Okay. Now see, second important key value, that is field name. Field name like this. So see, that also will give something ID and label. So what is the difference between label and field name? Label is this, right? So this label, that means this label what we see here, right? So what we see here, ID. So that is the label. This is the label. And when we have to allocate values for this column, so at that time we have to use field name. So see, this is label what we see, right? So ID, name, action, these are the labels. And later on, while allocating values, we have to use field name. Okay. So see, so that is the difference between label and field name. What we see, that is label, and to allocate values we have to use this field name. So see, same thing we'll do for other objects. So see, label, name like this, and field name. Field name colon name, right? Again here, label colon actions, field name, again actions, right? Like this. Okay. So see, we have defined this columns array, right? We have defined this columns array, and this columns array we have mentioned here, right? We have mentioned here. So for this columns field, we are allocating this columns array, right? Okay. So see, it is showing this black dot. That means it is not saved, right? Now we will save it by Control yes. Okay, it is done. So see, we will upload this component. Okay, it is done. So see, we have made changes in this component only, right? So we will not deploy other components. Already those are deployed. Okay, we are deploying only this component because we have made changes in this component only. Okay, now see, we will refresh it by Control F5. So here you can see ID, name and actions, right? ID, name and actions, right? So we got these columns, right? ID, name and action. These columns we got. Now we require data, right? So see, here you can see. Here we have this data, right? So what we will do in this video, we'll allocate pseudo data. Okay, we'll allocate some data, and in next video we will see how to allocate data from the Salesforce object. In next video we will see how to get data from the Salesforce object, and that we'll add in the rows. And in this video we will see how to add some pseudo data. Okay, we'll allocate some values. Okay, now see. So see, columns array we have created, right? In the same way, for this data we'll create one more array. So see, suppose we'll give some name rows, something like this, right? Okay, now see, we have to define it in JavaScript file. So see, how we have defined columns, in the same way we'll define rows like this. Now see, this is an array is equal to square bracket, right? Enter. Now see, here we have to add some value, and again that will be objects, right? So see, this is our first object, second object, third object, and this is fourth object, right? And how we are creating array? By using this square bracket. And how we are creating objects? By this curly brackets. And inside this curly bracket we have key value pairs, right? Okay, now see, so in columns we have mentioned labels id, name, actions. And what are the field names? Id, name, and action. So already I have told, to allocate values we have to use these field names, right? So see, here in rows we'll allocate some value id colon, in single quote we'll give some id. So suppose I am giving 23 comma, then field name, right? So see, name. So from where I am taking this name? This field name. This field name here I have mentioned, right? Okay, in single quote we will add some value. Suppose I am adding Parag Zambulkar, right? And action. So for a while what we'll do, we'll keep it blank, something like this, right? Okay, so see, I am copying this and we will change the values. So see, suppose here I am taking 30, name, some name will add, suppose Mayur Chavan, actions will keep it blank. Here suppose 33, here we will add Yogesh Hange, actions again we will keep it blank, id, so see 40, something like this. And name, some name we will add Manish Jansari, something like this, right? Okay, we have defined this rows array, right? Now see, this rows array we have to use in HTML file. So already we have mentioned that, right? Okay, so see, I have saved it. Now again we will deploy it. Okay, so it got deployed. Now see, we will refresh by Control F5. So here you can see id we have and name also we got, right? So see, here you can see, here we have some id and here we have some names, right? So what we have done, here we have allocated ids from our side and also we have allocated some names, right? And actions, here you can see, for actions we have buttons, right? For actions we have button. So see, what we'll do, we'll add these buttons. So see, so in JavaScript file, now see, so we don't have to allocate any value, right? We have to add a button. So see, what we'll do, we will remove this data from all these rows. We'll remove this data. Okay, so that is done. Now see, for actions what we want, for actions what we want button. And what is the label of this button? View contacts, right? So see, here in columns, so see, in columns what we have to mention, we have to mention type of this column. So what is the type? Button, right? Type colon, in single quote, button, like this, right? Now see, for this type we have to mention some attributes. So see, for this button type we have to mention some attribute. So see, comma, type attributes, like this. So see, for this type we have to mention type attributes, colon, and again curly brackets. So see, what we'll do, we'll take this curly bracket to the next line, and again this curly brackets will take it to next line, like this, right? So see, for this type, here we are adding type attributes. Now see, here we will add label. So what is the label? So see, view context, that is a label, right? So what we see, that is a label. So here we will add view context, something like this. Now see, next important attribute, that is value. Here we'll give some value. So see, suppose I am mentioning view underscore context, something like this. Okay, so any value you can give. This is the label. Okay, so what we mention label, so that label will be seen on the button, and value afterwards we have to use this value, so that's why we have mentioned it, right? So same value afterwards we have to refer. Okay, so that is done, right? Okay, now see, again we'll deploy our component. Okay, we will refresh it. Okay, control F5. So here you can see buttons are added here, right? View contacts, view contacts, view contacts, like this, right? So for every row we have added these buttons. Now see, here you can see these check boxes, but see, actually in our project we have these numbers, right? But here we have these check boxes. So what we will do, we will hide these check boxes. So to hide these check boxes, what we have to do, see, in HTML file we have to add one more attribute, hide checkbox column. To hide checkboxes, we have to add this attribute, hide checkbox column. And what value we have to allocate? True. So see, we are adding one attribute, hide checkbox column, and we are allocating value true. Okay, so see, I am saving it. Again, we will deploy. Okay, it is done. Now see, here are the checkboxes, right? Here are the checkboxes. So see, control F5. So see, checkboxes are removed, right? Checkboxes are removed. Now see what we want. We want row numbers. So here you can see how we have these row numbers. So in the same way, in our project, we will add row numbers. So how we can add? So see, again, we'll go to our lightning data table tag, and one more field here we have to add, show row number column. Okay, so I have typed show, and by default here I got it, show dash row dash number dash column, right? Okay, and here we have to allocate value true. Save it. Okay, again we will deploy. Okay, it is done. Now see. So see, currently there are no row numbers, right? Now see, we will refresh it by control F5. So now you can see row numbers are there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So see, in our project we have these row numbers, right? So in the same way, here we have added row numbers, right? So how we have done it? So to hide checkboxes, we have used this attribute, hide checkbox column, and to show numbers, we have added this field, show row number column, right? Okay. Now see, if we click on this button, nothing is happening. Now see what we want. If we click on this button, event should be generated and something should happen, right? So see, in our project, if we click on this view context button, so something here we are getting context. So see, when we are clicking on this button, event is getting generated, and when event is triggered, some function is getting run, right? So same thing here we'll do. But see, this part we'll add in next videos. For a while, in this video, what we'll do, if we click on this button, we should get this ID and name here. Somewhere here we'll print, right? So see, what we have to do to generate event when we click on this button. So see, we have to add one more attribute in lightning data table tag. So see, what attribute we have to add? On row action. So see, on row action. So see, already we have seen on change, on click, right? In the same way, on row action. So for that particular row, we are generating some action, right? So on row action, this will generate some event. And when this event is triggered, we have to call one function. So see, we are giving some name, handle row action, something like this. Okay, so any name you can give. It is our choice. So after clicking on that button, we will generate event, and when event is triggered, this function will be called. Now see, we have to define this function in our JavaScript file. JavaScript file of account child 2 component. So see, we'll go to this JavaScript file and here we'll define that function. So see, now see, we have to define this function, right? Here we have to pass event parameter. Now see, for on change event, for on click event, whatever the function that we are calling, so everywhere for every that function we have to mention parameter event, right? Okay, and this should be the body, right? Now see what we want when we click on this button. So ID and name here we will print, right? So for ID we will take one property and for name we will take another property. So suppose we will take one property with the name current ID, something like this, and second property we will take current name, something like this. To this current ID and current name we have to allocate values. So see, this dot current ID is equal to event dot detail dot row dot and that field name. So our field name is ID, right? So see, our field name is ID. So see, this is important, not label. Field name is ID, right? So see, that field name here we have mentioned, right? Event dot detail dot row dot ID. In the same way, for name we will allocate dot current name is equal to event dot detail dot row dot and name. So what is our field name? Field name is name, right? So see, same field name here we will mention like this. Now see how we will come to know only this button is clicked. So see, we have to check value for this button. So see, already I have mentioned for this button. So see, for the button, right? For this button type, right? So see, for this button type, we have mentioned some attributes, right? We have mentioned type attributes. Label is equal to something, value is equal to something. Now see, that value we have to check whether that particular button is clicked or not. So see, I am copying this value. Now see, we have to check whether that button clicked has the value this view underscore contacts, right? So see, here what we will do, we will add one condition. If here we have to check value, right? So from where we will get value? So see, event dot detail dot action dot value, right? See, here what we have mentioned, event dot detail dot row dot ID, right? Here event dot detail dot action. Action is keyword, okay? So action only we have to mention. Then value, we have to compare it with the current value, right? So see, in single quote this. So what value we have mentioned for the button? This view underscore contacts. Here you can see. For any button, what is the value? View underscore contacts, right? So we are comparing this value with this, with the action value, right? So how we are getting this action value? Event dot detail dot action dot value, right? We are comparing it with view contacts. If this value is equal to view underscore contacts, this statement should be executed, right? Okay. So see, we are allocating ID to current ID. We are allocating name to current name. Now what we'll do, this current ID and current name we will print in HTML file. Now see, this current ID and current name, these values will print on the screen, right? So that values we have to mention, these properties we have to mention here in HTML file. So see, here we'll mention current ID and current name like this. So see, current ID and current name that we are printing on the screen. So see, this file also we will save. So see, it is saved. Now see, again we will deploy our component. Okay, it is done. Now see, we will refresh our page by Ctrl F5. Okay, now see, if we click on this button, view contacts. So here you can see 23 ID and Parag Jambulkar name, right? Now see, now I am clicking on this second button, see view contacts. So see, 30 Mayur Chauhan. 33 Yogesh Handge, 33 Yogesh Handge, and here if I click on this, 40 Manish Jansari, 40 Manish Jansari, right? So see, when we click on this button, we are generating some event, and when event is generated, event is triggered, we are calling one function, and in that function, we are allocating this ID and name value. So how we are allocating those values? So see, event.detail.row.id, ID means is field name, right? So it will give that particular value, and see, we have to check whether that particular button is clicked or not. So for that purpose, we are matching it with its value, right? So from where we are getting its value? So event.detail.action.value, right? And this value we have mentioned here in columns. Here we have mentioned, right, this value. So see, we have done it. And in last video, we have seen, suppose something here I am typing, something like this. So this Mayur that we got from this search field, right? And this part we got from this, right? From this rows. In next video, we will see how to fetch data from this Salesforce object, right? And for that purpose, we will use wire decorator. I will provide this program code in my Udemy course. From there, you can download it. Okay, so we will meet in next video. Thank you.